Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. We're back.
This week we're discussing marginal gains. Do they really matter? And we've got the latest and greatest bike tech products.
And we're going to induct another product into the GCN Wall of Fame. Stay tuned for that one.
Well, John, this week, or last week rather, world champion Peter Sagan was spotted in Adelaide using a then unidentified set of 100% glasses. Well, we now know they are called the Speedcraft Air.
Yeah, now apparently the science behind this is that you get some sticky magnets which you put on the outside of your nostrils, and then with a longer nose piece of the glasses, they connect with the magnet that's attached to there, and hey presto, it opens up your nasal passages, apparently to help you breathe easier.
So, John, it's a bit like those Breathe Right, I think they were called, strips that riders have been using on and off since the 90s with mixed success.
Yeah, it's safe to say it's a similar thing, but you know, who are we to argue if Peter Sagan uses them?
Certainly, there's no way that I would argue with Peter Sagan.
Big wheels make you faster. Or fast, or maybe not at all, who knows. But there's one thing certain. Test results have shown that those oversized pulley wheels we see in rear derailleurs, apparently they reduce friction of the drivetrain by reducing that S-bend coming out of the rear mech and forward to the chainset. So that's why we're seeing those oversized pulley wheels.
Based on that, John, it's really interesting to see a company called SLF Motion and their hyperspeed system. Now, what this company does is they CNC machine rear mech cages and also jockey wheels out of titanium in a variety of sizes, which you can then retrofit to your rear mech.
Yeah.
And they've got this video of their system in action.
It's quite impressive, that, isn't it? But what is also interesting is that in triathlon, we commonly see it being used, don't we, actually, these rear derailleurs. But in road cycling, we're quite slow on the uptake of these things, aren't we?
I remember Cancellara using them, but I can't remember too many other riders being like firm adopters. You've seen people use them on occasion, maybe a special occasion, and then people not using them at all.
Yeah. Particularly in time trials, actually. So there we are. Maybe there's a link there with the time trials and the triathletes.
Do you use them? Let us know if you do in the comments.
Price of that starts at $445. Right, last week we discussed, is there a difference between high-end bikes? And as usual, you've all been getting stuck into the comments and we've picked out a few of our favourites. I'll start it off with Helicase. Basically, they wonder, is it a placebo effect for the bike? So could you get a mid-range or entry-level bike, paint it up as a high-end bike or top-of-the-range bike and ride it? Would someone notice a difference?
That's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, we'll have to give that a go with someone, won't we?
Yeah, that's a
I like the idea of that.
I liked Adrian Toko's comment, who actually chipped in and said, the first time I rode a superbike from Trek, I felt like I had a feather between my legs instead of a bike. My brain was totally unprepared, and at first I couldn't relate. And I think the first time anyone steps onto like a really amazing bike or like gets a new set of lighter wheels in, it does feel like that.
Yeah.
Because it performs better and it's faster than your expectations.
Yeah. Just when you put in those first pair of really stiff wheels, you notice that instantly, don't you?
Get on first two pedal strokes.
Yeah, you're away.
There we go.
Sound effects, they come for free as well. Danny McCartney, if you ride a top-of-the-range bike all the time, it just feels normal after a while. Sometimes you have to spend time on your hack bike to feel the quality of the top-end one.
Word.
Yeah, and you know, you do, because if you've only got a top-end bike and you're always riding it, that is your bike. You know, how can you feel the difference? So yeah, I totally agree with that. Every now and then go onto a slightly lower bike, so you can appreciate that.
I actually think though, John, that Jamie Baker has got the last word.
Yeah.
It's undisputed fact. He says, if it looks good and makes you want to go and ride it, it is the right bike.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. That's spot on. Yeah.
This week, John, I reckon we should talk about marginal gains. Now, when I say marginal gains this time, I'm not thinking about, you know, for my training or for my diet or anything like that. What I'm thinking about are the marginal gains for my bike and my kit. Do they exist? And if they do exist, do they even matter?
Yeah, surely they do. I mean, there's a reason why companies invest enormous amounts of money into new products and projects to get that cutting edge over their competition. So I think that's pretty conclusive.
But what I really had in mind was the everyday cyclist, riders like you and me and our mates. What we like to do is we will go for a spin to the cafe, we'll sprint for the odd town sign, and we'll go for the odd KOM. So, should we be left scratching our heads a little bit when presented with progressions such as an aerodynamic arm warmer or a super aerodynamic chainring or set of cranks? Where does that leave us?
I can see a point there. But without the industry pushing boundaries, we could be left stagnant and riding in last year's slower stocks. But all joking aside, those developments and refinements actually allow us to ride further and faster as we get older and should be going a little bit slower.
Yeah, fair enough, but perhaps I think what this is starting to verge into is the N+1 with bike syndrome. So, the correct number of bikes to own is the number you own plus one. So I'll have a shed full of different bikes for slightly different purposes. I'll have the latest cycling kit to help me to go faster, and I'll have constant deliveries, and maybe I'll spend so much time upgrading my ride that I won't ride it all that much.
Yeah, I know what you mean there, and the dent in the wallet, sometimes that can land you in a bit of trouble. But there is nothing better for me than having that new little marginal gain and going out and trying it and feeling great. There is one thing though, riding along, staring down at a GPS unit, that's not fun at all. But when you get home and you look at the ride data, then you can pick up some marginal gains where you can improve on for your next ride.
Things like tyre pressure.
Yeah.
A third of a bar decrease or increase in tyre pressure can make a huge difference to the quality of your ride.
Yeah.
A few millimetres of saddle height, a few millimetres of reach, a few millimetres of layback. All of these can be done for free, and they may be marginal changes, but they may not be marginal gains. What we need though is we need to hear from you. So we're going to have a poll on screen now. We want you to let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you chasing the latest KOM? Are you trying to drop your mates with the latest marginal gains and progressions in tech? Or
do you not really care? Do you just get out and ride? You don't care about those marginal gains?
Are you happy to ride tomorrow's retro?
Basically. All right, first up, I owe an apology. Recently, I reported to you some incorrect information. Yep, I told you that Team Sky were using Stage's power meters. They're also using Shimano's power meters for 2018. So they're using Stage's and Shimano's. Apologies for the confusion caused.
We'll make sure to keep you updated on all of our Team Sky Pro bikes as to which power meters the riders choose, because it's always interesting to see when pro cyclists are offered individual choice on components, what they actually go for.
Yeah, or if Team Sky just say, no, that's what you're using. Be interesting to see.
Another very cool bit of pro tech-ish, I want to call this one, was Ryan Mullen's TT setup at the Vuelta a San Juan. It's a race that's in Argentina, so thousands of miles, continents perhaps, away from the team's service course, so they don't have all of the kit there, so all the teams ride their standard road bikes. Yeah. To get a super aerodynamic position, Mullen, who is a time trial expert going back years, has angled his hoods in, like really sharply, if you look at the images, to create, a tri-bar-like position.
Yeah, I tell you what, mate, I looked at the parkour, and it's a good job there wasn't any sharp corners, because imagine trying to take a sharp bend on those. Right, now I've been following this account for a while on Instagram, C4 Cycle Works. Now for me, this company are the masters of making these custom carbon parts. Check out those handlebars. I mean, in amongst loads of different track handlebars, saddles, chain rings, frames, the list goes on. Just have a look through there. I wish I could have the skill and knowledge just to be able to whack something up together in my workshop at home. Something carbon, unique, something really cool. Leads me on. What would you make if you were in that workshop?
If I had the skill and knowledge and could casually whack up a carbon fibre bike part in the workshop.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why, carbon fibre disc brake rotors aren't more commonplace on bicycles. So I think I would try and make something like that. I know some manufacturers do make them. I just always wondered why they weren't more common. But if you are a carbon fibre expert and have made carbon fibre parts of your own, we would absolutely love to see them. So send them in.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Maybe that's the ultimate marginal gain. The Spruzzer. Yep, the Spruzzer. I was a bit dubious of this at first when I saw it because it's a stem-mounted cooling device for cyclists. So, yep, that's right, it clamps onto the stem and it has a reservoir to carry 150 millilitres of water.
Interesting stuff. So they reckon 150 millilitres is enough for about 150 sprays. It's going to retail at $50 US, so that's the asking price for it at least. And they've done a bit of science on this one too. So they say that a few sprays can cool you down by up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's quite a lot, isn't it? I could have done with one of those in Australia recently.
And I could have done with one when I climbed up Jebel Hafid in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, you loved that, didn't you?
Good bit of suffering.
How about literally the coolest helmet on earth? Apparently, anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So this is a Kickstarter project. It's called the Cool Head. And the Kickstarter is saying that it can actually reduce the temperature of your head by up to 15 degrees compared to your body temperature.
Well, how does that work exactly? Because it doesn't look particularly well vented, does it? Basically, there's a removable liner which you soak in water, replace, put the helmet on your head, and then that does the job. That liner sits on your skull, cools you down.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the science behind it, but without those vents, I think once you start dropping those all-important wattage bazookas, I don't think it's going to work, is it? Anyway, they have done some tests and they reckon that it's cooler than a top leading brand. So there we are. Who are we to argue? Definitely. And finally, does that look like a former world road race champ wearing one? Jury's out on that. Let's finish off then with another helmet this week.
Yeah, so Lizzie Dagnan has been spotted using a custom painted British Champions Edition's Specialised Prevail 2.
Yeah. What's surprising is we don't see more of these, because actually I think that a custom helmet really finishes off the look of a jersey, doesn't it? And it's actually really easy for a helmet company to do that. So I want to see more of them.
I had no idea that it was easy to do, but for the eagle-eyed, you can also spot Lizzie and World Road Race champion Chantel Black using disc brakes.
So there they are. Another 2 pros on disc brakes. Next week, we'll have some more tech for you. It's time for the Hall of Fame now. We've had the quick release, we've had the STI lever, we've had the A headset, and now it's time for Cinelli's cork ribbon bar tape.
Yeah, so this is an iconic product, even if you don't quite know it yet. So think years and years and years way back. In 1983, handlebar tape was in a bit of a sorry state. If you think of the rim tape that we now use on our rims, at the time that's pretty much what bar tape was.
Yeah, and in 1983, when Antonio Colombo debuted this, he used the marketing slogan, Cinelli cork, iron fist, velvet glove. And do you know what? Compared to those previous bar wrapping options that were available, it was a velvet glove indeed.
The inspiration for Cinelli cork ribbon actually came to Colombo from fishing rods. He was a keen fly fisherman, and all of the best fishing rods used cork on the handlebars. It was lightweight, sweat absorbent, durable, and also pleasant to the touch.
Yeah, it wasn't easy though to integrate that cork into EVA, because EVA, which makes up most of the tape, is a man-made product and is very flexible and stretchy. Cork, well, it's not. And initially, that first batch of bar tape were only made in a quite uninspiring colour, gum-coloured, and sales didn't exactly flourish.
But then, in 1985, there was a breakthrough. They introduced a range of new colours and sales and use immediately rocketed. Some riders even started riding and racing without gloves because the tape was just that comfortable.
We want to know, what product do you want to see in the Hall of Fame?
What is your ultimate road bike tech innovation? Tell us down in the comments and we will feature one of our favourites in next week's Tech Hall of Fame.
Right, it's time for Bike of the Week, where you vote for your favourite bike out of 2 that we pit head to head.
Last week, the nominees were the Cannondale Super 6 Evo and the Argon 18 Galleon Pro.
Who do you reckon won, mate?
For me, John, I reckon it was the Argon 18 with those colours.
Well, can I have a drum roll, please? It's not very loud, is it? But anyway, whoa. Okay, right, well, with 66% of the votes, the winner was the Cannondale Super 6 Evo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to go back to the sunshine now, where I'm going to show you this week's bikes for you to choose from. So first up is the Giant Tcr Advanced Sl. It's got a full Shimano Dura-Ace Di2 group set with Giant's own bars, stem, saddle and wheels, and it's finished off there with a Shimano R9 100P power meter. And it's up against the Trek Madone. This also features a Shimano Dura-Ace Di2 group set as well as the Shimano power meter. It's got the Madone integrated bars and stem and almost fully hidden cables on the whole bike. You can just about see the Di2 cable of the rear derailleur and also a rear brake cable. It's topped off with a Bontrager saddle and wheels, and it's got Vittoria tyres. So you know what to do. Vote on screen right now for your bike of the week, and next week we'll have 2 more for you to vote for.
This is my first ever time in the GCN Tech Bike Bowl.
Welcome, firstly. Got to say, it's a pleasure to have you in here. That's all right. Right, you know the rules. You've been around long enough to know the game here. So let's start. First up, Antonio Silveira in Palo Alto, California. I hope I've said that all right, because I do get some stick actually for my pronunciation. What do you reckon about that, Bianchi?
I really, really like it. I just think the composition of the image is spot on with the colours, the blues, the greens, the celeste.
Yep.
It's super nice from me, John.
Yeah, super nice from me too. It's all lined up lovely. Oh, there we go. Right, Justin Savard, Orange County, Southern California. Now, you don't see many of these around, do you?
This is an exceptional effort. So he's using the 3T frame,
Yep.
which is single chainring specific.
Yep.
So you might think he'll be using SRAM, but he's not. He's got Dura-Ace DI2 levers. He's got a Dura-Ace chain set.
Yeah.
The DI2 levers speak to what is an XTR 1x rear neck.
Yes.
So he's got no worries with chain retention because it's built to hold the chain in place. And I don't know what the chainring is, but that looks
trick,
super
doesn't
slick.
it? That looks so good.
Justin, it's the second super nice in a row, and respect.
Super
That's
nice
very,
from me.
very,
Yeah.
very cool.
I can't argue with anything there. Beautiful. Next up, Rui Tavares of Porto in Portugal. Well, here we go. He got specialised there, lent up next to a tree. Look at the river sightseeing boat.
It's
a nice looking bike,
It's
isn't
a
it?
beautiful spot. It's an interesting colour as well.
Nice looking bike, that,
thanks,
Rui. Yeah,
It's nice.
thanks.
It's
And I
nice.
hope Porto's good at this time of year. I've been there before. Beautiful place. Right, I've thrown a curveball in here for you now.
John's going to explain the curveball.
Yeah, this is a Kirk Precision from Lewis Duffield of Chelmsford in the UK. For me, because I haven't seen one of those for so long and it brings back some very good memories, maybe not for those who owned them back then, it gets a super nice.
That photo makes me smile. I mean,
Smile man of Seoul in South Korea.
the amount of effort that has gone into choosing the spot. It's like a cool little subway thing with some graffiti, there's some plants hanging down. Everything is lined up perfectly. You've got the yellow logos on the Mavic wheels matching in with the yellow bits on the BMC frame. He's got a gold chain, right, John?
Yeah, gold chain, yeah.
He's
Bit of
rocking-
bling. Chucking the bling in there.
SRAM ready tap, physique saddle.
Gold cables.
He's got the gold alligator link, iLink cables.
That is a nice looking bike,
That
isn't
is
it? Do you know what?
seriously
It's a super nice looking bike for
Super
me.
nice bike, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is the end of the bike vault.
How do you
But-
send them in?
Well, there's a link on the screen right now. Well, there's the email address rather. So send them in there and also include where you come from as well so we can give you a shout out.
A couple of weeks ago, we ran our first ever GCN Tech unboxing when we unboxed Topeak's Ninja storage kits. There were 10 up for grabs, and the 10 winners, your names are going to be on screen now. If you're one of them, get in touch, or we'll be in touch with you shortly. We'll get your prize sent out to you.
And keep an eye out for more unboxing here on GCN Tech where you could be within the chance of winning a prize. Right, that's it. I'm afraid it's nearly the end of the show. But don't worry because
We've got some cracking videos coming up for you on GCN Tech. Tomorrow, on Friday, we've got the Ask GCN Tech Clinic where John and you, the viewers, will be solving more of your bike tech issues. On Saturday, we've got what I'm told is a golden pro bike, so I'm very excited to see that.
not to be missed.
On Sunday, we've got a very interesting feature where Si goes to find out if stiffer bikes are actually faster.
Yeah. Then on Monday, I'm back in the maintenance set helping you bleed your disc brakes.
On Tuesday, John asks at the Tour Down Under, why don't pro cyclists slam their stems?
It's a cracker that, not to be missed.
And then,
We're back here for the GCN Tech Show, episode number 6.
see you there.
Yeah. And now, don't leave us because remember to like and share this video with your friends. And also for another great video, why not click down here for Disc Brake TLC.
And of course, if you haven't already subscribed to GCN Tech, please do, and don't forget to set your notifications so that you find out whenever we release a video. Click on our logo, which is on screen right now.